What's up? I'm checking to make sure that I'm on. Freaks. The gang slowly saunters in. Jocko John, there you go. 3 a.m. in Northern Ireland. Love it. Wait for the Lydian. Andrea, what's up? Rob. What's happening, everyone? Good evening. Desmond, what's up? Steve says hi from Fairport. There we go. Fairport's my hometown, my original hometown. I know that I don't have my I have my black t-shirt on here, but it's way too cold for it. Okay, 6 a.m. in Russia. Where is everybody? You woke up 2 hours ago, Basel? Come on. You should have woken up 3 hours ago. You could have practiced for an hour. Okay, so wait, what's the latest time? Who is watching this where it's tomorrow? Where it's 10 Eastern time. Is it okay, we got Argentina. Where is from Syria? There we go. Andrea, don't you sleep? Insane, 4 a.m. I love this. We have New Zealand. There we go. Where is Duragaville, New Zealand? Is that Kirian? That's a cool name. Joel, you missed yesterday because you were at work. I know. Sorry about that. I'm back in the normal time. And there's Norway, 1 a.m., 5 past midnight in Argentina. Bangkok, okay, 10 a.m. That's a reasonable time. Western Australia. There we go. Like what is it? Brisbane, Western Australia. Is that Western? I had a good friend from there. Really good friend. He's no longer with us. His name was Michael Lee or Michael Johns. He was on American Idol back in 2008. That's a long story. I don't want to talk about it. Brisbane in the East. Okay. Let's see. Top of New Zealand, North Island. Okay, cool. Perth. Oh, that's where my friend Mike Lee's from. Is not Brisbane. He's from Perth. I think it is. Yeah, he was from Perth. That's right. It's incredibly cold in Ottawa. It's got to be cold. If it's 18 degrees here, it's got to be freezing there. What's up, Richard? How cold is it in Chicago? Spotify just uploaded Matheny's early records. Does that mean that they're safe to play? It must. Minus 30 in Connecticut. My God. Dan, you have family in Perth. Yeah, so my friend Michael Johns, he was on American Idol. He finished it. He was the best singer that they ever had on there. But he got 503 in Syria. Wow, that's awesome. I hope you're waking up and not still awake. But Michael Johns finished 8th in American Idol. He should have won, and he passed away. He's a really good friend of mine, unexpectedly at 35 from a blood clot. Believe it or not, it's terrible. It's 4 or 5 years ago. Desmond, Rick, can you show how to get the bass sound and need to breathe oohs and ahs, or explain what you did? Oh, brother. You know what? I tell you, Desmond, go watch my video of Need to Breathe. I did a documentary on the making of that record that's on YouTube on my other channel. And I have video of us recording that song, and you can see Seth's bass. He was playing I want to say he was playing a P bass at the time. Definitely with distortion on it, no question about it. That was 6-7 years ago. It's hard to remember, but we definitely used a 1073 mic pre. We had a DI, two DIs and an amp. We used 1073 mic pre's on it, and we used a distortion plugin called. Oh, it was a really weird distortion plugin that I have on my other computer. I'm trying to think of what they called it. It's a really cool distortion program. I have to look. It's on my other computer. Oh, you watch it, but you weren't sure? I'll look it up and I'll find out. I'd have to fire up the computer in the other room, but it's one that I haven't used in years and years. But we had presets for that particular record. It's a really great plug-in distortion. And I know that we used it a lot on there. So, Jay, it's 12 outside, 45 in the garage studio. I know, it's brutal, right? Let's see. Here's a question, or maybe it's a statement. How to go about memorizing the grips in the Beato book. How should I go about memorizing all the grips in the Beato book? Well, there's about 1,000 of them in there. I'd start at the beginning probably. There's no shortcut for memorizing stuff. Have I heard the T-Ride album? Yes, that's a great record, Ken. The Eric Valentine record. That's Ken was just asking. He talks about that record on his Gear Sluts interview that he did in 2000. It's probably from 2008 or so. He talks about T-Ride in there a lot. Kevin says, he just watched my ear training video. Love the use of augmented and diminished triads. Never seen that done before. There you go. Let's see here. What else am I missing here? I saw something else here. Okay, we're over 100 people. What are grips, Stan asks. Grips are guitar chords that you just grab. They're honestly guitar or piano voicings that are kind of what I call stock voicings. They're ones that everybody plays. This would be a grip if you played this major 7th chord here. Whoops. That's a stock A major 7 chord. That would be a typical grip that everybody would play, or minor 7 chord, or a dominant 13 chord, A13. Those are grips. They're really common when you see people, those are all typical grips. What's the best software for composing orchestral stuff, especially for non-taught, non-formally educated? Ryan's asking this. A video on the tools needed. I don't know why there's an arrow right there in the middle of this comment here. Oh, probably because it keeps going. I see. Kinch, what's up? Sorry I didn't get back to you. I'll call you later. I still want to see how you make those reeds. You need to tell me. What's up, Joe? Piano grips, Andrea. You know that, right? Common chords. That's better. Thank you, Ken. That's a better definition. Common chords. Okay, so Ryan's asking here a video on the tools needed. Best software for composing. I think you're talking about. When I say best for composing, you mean the sound libraries. A place I would probably start is Spitfire Audio. I don't like the people there. I don't like their company. Their customer support's kind of lame. but they make great orchestral libraries, and they're expensive, but they don't take up. They're not incredible hogs. They're not incredible memory or RAM hogs. They're really good. So I would go there, go and listen to some of their demos. They have incredibly good demos on there that sound very realistic. Eric asks, how long does it take to get the muscle memory for guitar grips? That depends on how much you practice and who you are. That's hard to say. It's not just getting the grips on some of these things. It's one thing, if you're playing a bar chord like this, right? And you're a beginner and you learn a major bar chord, it can take, 5 weeks to get it where every note speaks clearly. A chord like this, the difficulty in this is to mute these two strings. And just play, I'm using this string I'm using this finger angled to mute the string below it, and then I'm using that same finger right here to mute this open E string. So 10,000 hours for sure. Somebody just said. Anyways, Tom said Spitfire Albion is great. I agree. Spitfire Albion is a great place to start. Thank you, Tom, for that. That's probably the best beginner library. Best beginner library. Not beginner library. It's a great sounding library. They're woodwinds. You can play it. It has all ensemble patches that are full orchestra. Kinch says, Rick, Ivory is still the best piano software you're asking. Okay, so the best piano software, it really depends on what. There's there's a good patch that's a really dark piano that is made by Native Instruments called the Gentleman. You have a really bright piano that's addictive piano that works great in rock tracks. There's the Hans Zimmer piano that Spitfire Audio makes that's really good. There's Ivory, and they have a number of decent pianos. You have East West has some pretty good pianos as well. They've got a Bosendorfer, and they have Yamaha. They have Bosendorfer, Yamaha, and then 2 different Steinways. So, it really depends. And then you have the Keyscape, which is made by Spectrasonics. That's probably, it's more, and Fazioli. No, I mean, as far as we're talking about sampled ones, right? If you're going to spend the money, I would say I would go Kinch with with Keyscapes, because you get all these different pianos, and then you get all things like Whirlies and Rhodes also. The thing about East West, and I don't want to trash East West. I interviewed Mark Isham, and East West was kind enough to give me all of their sounds. Their player, which is called Play, is not it's not a great player. But then again, honestly, Contact sample player is not very good either. So, Keyscape has its own player. Spectrasonics makes their own players, and that's a really important thing. Play has the East-West player is called Play, and it's really not intuitive at all. But I don't think that the Contact player is really intuitive either. I think that the way it's set up is kind of, is not easy to. It's just the routing on it's weird. But East-West old sample installers were buggy too. I know. They've improved them though. Some of those are, they've definitely improved them. They've improved the player. So I would go with, if I was going to buy something from scratch, I would get, Play always, Anthony says Play always crashes. Play used to crash all the time, the older versions, but it's gotten a lot better. I haven't really had any problems. I'm using Pro Tools 10 here. On the faster computers, the newer interfaces, the interface isn't any better on it, and the way the browser works is terrible. Keyscape's $379 is totally worth it, man. The Hans Zimmer piano was recorded in Air Studios, the one that's is made by Spitfire. It's a great sounding piano, but it's just one piano. It's got really good room mics. It's the sampling of it is excellent. But Keyscape, you're going to get way more usage out of it. It's just you get much more bang for your buck because you're going to pay. I guarantee you the one. If you look it up, Kinch, look up how much the Hans Zimmer one is on Spitfire Audio. I'm curious because I'm sure it's $350. It's probably more than that, honestly, because he's got to be getting a royalty off it. So they jack the prices up when they have when somebody puts their name on it. Chris Lord LG, when he puts his name on plugins, those guys are all getting plugins from it. Or they're all getting royalties from it, I mean. So anytime a plugin is sold, they get their cut. That's why they do it. That's why they put their name on it. Spitfire's soft piano from Labs is super cheap, virtually no CPU. You talking about the felt piano, Anthony? Because the problem with the felt piano, because I have it, and it's cool. It kind of sounds like the Thomas Newman pianos, but it doesn't. I don't think it works very well, honestly. With I can't get it to load in my Contact sampler. I own it and I can't even use it. It's cheap, but if $59, if it doesn't work, that it's not of much use. For the Hans Zimmer, $399. So here's the thing, Kinch, you get one piano for $399, and with Keyscape you get I don't know how many pianos. You get pianos, you get electric pianos, everything for less money. So it's way more worth it. If you go look at the demos on there, you'll see Corey Henry playing, who's a killer player. He's playing the piano. They have a lot of different people demonstrating them. The Alicia Keys piano, Tom says, I have that. I have every piano plugin out there pretty much. Bad or rude consumer support is enough for you to balk at. Well, no. Look, some of these companies are just like that. They're just a pain. I follow one of the guys, Christian Henson, his name is. He's one of the owners of Spitfire. He makes a blog. He has a YouTube channel. He doesn't have very many subscribers, but he actually makes really good vlogs. That he lives, I don't know, outside of London or something where the Spitfire office is, and he takes the train in or he goes for a run in the morning, and he makes these really good vlogs. And he seems like a nice guy. I've written to him. I wanted to interview him, but he never wrote me back. So, whatever. I think he's too cool for school because he has Hans Zimmer on his. Is that where it is? Edinburgh. That's probably more. That's probably right. Because he's got a. Christian is great, but he throws politics in his vlogs. You know, that's why he started his own channel. He put his politics on the Spitfire channel, which was not a good move. And so he started his own YouTube channel because of that. But come on, give the guy a break, I guess. He's got bad customer support, but he makes great plugins. So, Scooby-Doo, yes, I was talking about Albion as a good starter. And don't take that the wrong way. It's a professional sound library. So it's a great beginning. If you're going to buy one sound library, it's got woodwinds, brass, and strings. It's got different articulations. I mean, not a ton. You know, you're not going to get everything from a plugin, and it's all ensemble. It's all full orchestra ensemble sounds. The thing I like about it over there, I have their chamber music strings. I have all their orchestral. You know, I've got the brass one, I've got the dedicated brass one, dedicated woodwind one, dedicated string one, and I have the chamber strings, and I have Albion 1, and I have Albion 2. I like Albion 2. The strings are a little bit soft on it in comparison with Albion 1. Albion 1, the sounds are loud and they have great mids. They have much better mids as an ensemble patch than any of the other ones. My criticism on the main string it's the green strings that come with their full orchestral suite that's $16.99. It's expensive to get them. But my main criticism is the preset that you open to has way too much vibrato on it on the strings. That's one of them. They have all these annoying pop-up menus that you have to keep clicking off of that I don't know why they do this. What's up, Hassan? Good morning. What do I think about Native Instruments Komplete? Is it worth it? Well, it is. It is. It's worth it because there's a ton of different things. The thing about Native Instruments Komplete is that there are so many plugins. It's expensive, but there's great things like battery, for example. If you're doing production, any type of EDM production, any type of commercial pop production, it's got all killer drum sounds. It's got all your 808, Roland 808 drum sounds, all your Roland 909 drum sounds. It's got a lot of really cool patches. It's got tons of different keyboards, all these kind of, esoteric. Absinthe is a great one that has really weird sounds. Ken, they have horrible support too. Who doesn't have horrible support? Avid has the worst support ever. Apple has terrible support. I mean, god-awful support. Name me a company that has good support. Does UAD have good support? I don't know. I've never had to call them. Their stuff always works. Rob, Massive and Absinthe are killer. I mean, right there, just for those, it's great. And there's some really great vintage organ plugins that sound. I mean, I have a B3 here that I've recorded a million times, but the fact that you can change your organ part is excellent. And it's got key switching, so you can change your patches. You just have to be careful when you're doing when you do glissandos on the organ. If you do a smear up into a note, you have to be careful that you don't hit. I would always do this. I'd accidentally go too far down, and I would switch the. Dennis, what's up, man? I would switch the patch by accident. So that's the one thing about it. But they have great vintage organ sounds. So yeah, it's total. Contact is totally worth the money. Sample Logic's cinematic guitars, Infinity is a must-have. Some of the other things, I have Cinestrings. I've got, I have so many plugins. I've been buying plugins forever. So, oh yeah. Amazon. Who said that? Amazon has great support. They do have great support. That's why they were 1/7 of all the sales in 2017 in the United States or in the world or in the United States. They made up like 1/7 of the economy. It's insane, which is why Jeff Bezos is worth $100 billion now. What's up, Frederico? Ciao. Good to see you. Cinesamples has good support. That's good to know. The only thing I have of theirs is their strings. I haven't tried any of their brass or I haven't tried any of their other samples, but I've heard that they're killer. Is Spectrasonics still developing stylus, or is it considered old at this stage? Kinch asks. Stylus has really not had any updates in years. There was one pack that they did. There were two different packs that they released after the release of the plugin, which is probably around 2003. One of the packs had Abe Laboriel Jr. did some of the drum samples, I believe. And then, so they had two different updates or two different sample packs you can buy with it, but they don't really change any of the stuff there. That's the thing. Their plugin called Omnisphere is a killer plugin for pads, for synth strings, analog synths. Really worth the money. Has thousands of presets. That was one that they updated. It used to be called Atmosphere. And then probably about 7 years ago, they changed it to Omnisphere. And that's used by a lot of producers. Every film scorer out there uses it. Eric Persing and said, Stylus will get an update soon. Well, that is, I mean, it's literally not had an update in probably 10 years. Kinch says he was on a New Orleans pack. Have I tried the UAD distressor emulation yet? Anthony asks. I have not tried it. I have their Fatso, which is really good. I own a Fatso. I had the Fatso, or I owned a Fatso. I don't own it anymore. The actual real Fatso, and I own 2 distressors. I'll tell you this. There's a Cush Audio makes a distressor plugin. It's not called a distressor, and it's a pretty good plugin. They make actually excellent plugins, but the guy that owns the company is an a-hole. Okay, I'm saying this publicly. Don't like the guy. He complained about my Apple video, and I spent money buying his plugins. He is. I want to publicly trash him now. I never trash anybody on here, but he's a complete idiot. So there you go. If you can look up his name, Cush Audio. Don't buy anything from there. Actually, that's not true. Their plugin, their Cush Audio compressor is excellent. Even though the guy's a jerk, you should still buy it. The guy that developed it. He said about my Apple video, he goes, first world problems. Okay, not realizing that I'm going rogue right now. That's what Scooby just said. Yeah, so this idiot, what's his name? Give me Cush Audio. Where's Joe when you need him? Who's the owner of Cush Audio? I put it out of my mind. He's so pompous, it's ridiculous. Somebody give me his name here. I'm going to rant. I just have to know his name. I keep forgetting. His name is Idiot. Gregory Scott. Thank you, Chris. Gregory Scott. What a fool this guy is. So he says, he talks about my Apple rant. He has no idea that I'm sure he saw it. He's like, well, he's thinking that I'm some tech person or something, right? He doesn't have any idea that I have a YouTube channel, that I've mentioned his plugins, that I use them, and he's talking about first world problems. Here's a guy that develops freaking apps for Pro Tools, first world problems. He makes a $2,500 Fatso, a modded Fatso. And he talks about first world problems. The guy's a software designer. What a total idiot. Cannot stand this guy. I've been meaning to trash him, but I always forget to. I'm glad you guys reminded me. I want to trash him on the other channel, though. But I'll trash him and I'll say that his plugin, his compressor plugin is excellent. So I have to be honest, just like Cash Me Outside, I can't stand that girl that sings the song, but I love the song. I can't admit to hating the song. I love the production on it. Robbie, my wife is a high school teacher. She gets a new Apple laptop every year, so they constantly have problems. My PCs that you built never have problems. I know. Hassan, how's Dylan coming with the oboe? Well, I have to exchange it now for a different one. Before he's had his first lesson, his teacher told me I need to get a different one. So he wanted to play it today, but I said, no, I don't want to have to clean it again. So I'm going to get a new one on Monday, exchanged out for a Yamaha. But the plugin, hold on, I want to go back to this Cush Audio. The plugin, his UBK1 it's called. It's a compressor plugin that is really excellent sounding. I mean, I'm trying to trash the guy, but it's a killer compressor. And the guy is so pompous. Watch his videos. He plays this like smooth, I don't know, whatever kind of music he plays on his videos where he tests out his compressors. But if you want to get the closest sound, I talked about this last night, the Chandler TG1, you know, the plugin I told you to, or the rack mount unit. What's up, Ron? The rack mount unit that I said go watch the demo of because it makes room mic sound amazing. His UBK1 has a setting on there. It's got 5 different compressor settings on there. It does a distressor. It does the emulations are like SSL compressor. It's got all different ones, but it does an incredible version of the TG1 or the EMI, what is it, 12435 compressor, the Abbey Road EMI compressor. Amazing sounding on room mics. But he is so pompous, my God. He makes me look humble, believe it or not. Anyways, but I've been meaning to write him a letter, and I have his email, but I just haven't gotten around to him because it's honestly not worth my time. But I'd be glad to trash him here, and I will trash him on my other channel. I'm going to make a note to myself to trash Gregory. I love how Rick is always PG on his videos. Even his interviews aren't. It's a breath of fresh air and really respectable. I have to be PG, you know? You can't, you got little kids. You are starting to sound like, do I have any analog synths in my studio? Yes. He hangs with Slate and they count their money together. Stephen Slate, I don't know what he's like, but he's quite a character with his what's the his Frank Sinatra cover. Have you ever heard that? Fly Me to the Moon. He's singing it and you're thinking, okay, he's just goofing on this, right? And but he's really serious. It's hilarious. What happened between me and Gregory? Alan wants to know. Gregory from Kush Audio trashed or said about my Apple rant, first world problems, not realizing that not only do I have a music channel, because he didn't even bother to look. He just thought I was just some guy ranting about an Apple video, and he said first world problems. This guy develops apps for a living. Anybody that's on YouTube has first world problems. I'm sorry. If you have a computer with a Wi-Fi, you're not living out in the bush in Australia, okay? So anyone that's got a computer and a Wi-Fi and can get on YouTube is in the first world as far as I'm concerned. Hassan, what were we talking about? Did you just bring the Apple video up? No, he just commented on my Apple video, and I looked and it said UBK was his handle, and it was him. I went to his channel, it was him. I was like, that son of a. Anyways, but other than that, he's got, other than the UBK1, he has a distressor copy. I forget what it's called. I've used. It's actually pretty good too. So, Alan, you're an internet engineer, and my Apple rant was right on. Just ignore the haters. I ignore all the haters except one that I've spent money at their company on. And then I went and I trashed him to all my friends, and one of my friends is friends with him, and he gave me his email. He said, "Oh my God, you got to write him an email." And I said, "No, I'm just going to trash him on my next live stream that I think of it." The Deflector, Federico says, that's the one. It's actually pretty good, I got to say. My audio volume's lower. Okay, I just turned it up. Is that better? A bit lower than usual. I just turned it up. It was minus 2.5 dB. Rob, anyone remember the old Motu rigs? Yes. Anthony, you're investing in custom PC at the moment. So I have my Hackintosh, and I keep hearing these things. Oh, they're illegal. Blah 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 blah. Baloney. Well, maybe they are, but Apple doesn't do anything about it. They actually they never closed down any Hackintosh sites, nothing like that. And Apple didn't used to suck. You're right, Robert. Tom says, you worked at Apple for 8 years at an Apple store. You can write a book on what an embarrassing company they are. It's amazing. They're almost $1 trillion company. I know. Mark of the Unicorn. Yeah, so anyways, is the Nari live stream tomorrow? No, it's on Sunday. She'll be here. I'm really looking forward to it. She's not on here tonight. I noticed that, but we'll say hi to her anyways. Their customer service is good. Who are you talking? Whose customer service is good? Ken, you're not talking about Apple. You're talking about Motu. It has great product support. I don't have any Motu stuff in my you know the funny thing, I never call customer support. I think I've called Apple one time. I called Avid probably 2 times ever, and they were really neck and neck for having the worst customer support. Joel, Rick, how about Rhett's channel following in Nari's footsteps? He told me that he'd ripped off one of her videos on purpose. And I only watched it, but I haven't watched it all the way through. I need to watch it. But it was, what is it? Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. Do I enjoy free jazz? You mean jazz I don't have to pay for, Hassan? Yes, I love free jazz like Ornette Coleman a lot. Big fan. I like Paul Bley. I liked, Carla Bley. I really like free jazz when it's really well played. Don Cherry. I love a lot of free jazz players. Ornette, though, is, untouchable with that. Derek Bailey, yes, absolutely. My audio is better now. See that? I turned it up. Minus 2.5 dBs, a lot. Don Cherry, a friend of mine played bass with Don Cherry for years, and I saw Don play many times back in the day. I saw him play, believe it or not, at a Ramada Inn, Don Cherry at a Ramada Inn in Ithaca, New York. It was totally weird. My friend Peter was playing bass with him, and it was cool, though. He was great. For those of you that know Don Cherry is a jazz trumpet player that played with Ornette Coleman. Killer player. He's no longer with us. Eric says Charlie Banakis with a question mark. What about Charlie? I've talked about Charlie a lot of times on here. He was an improvisation and ear training teacher in Boston. Big influence on a lot of people like Jeff Berlin. Sheila E. is Don Cherry's daughter, and also what's her name? Nana Cherry? Nana? How do you say her name? That's his daughter as well, I believe. Let's see here. You saw him before he died. Yeah, I saw him a number of times in the 80s. He was killer. He was really great. He was a total weirdo. Nena, right? Neneh. She had a career for a little bit. Joel, is Dylan still grounded from his iPad? Yep. He's got 5 more days. It's killing him. No, he's actually behaving much better now. That thing is, I'm going to hide it forever, I think. The Lame Lloyd, you've been listening to Fred Hirsch all day? Fred was a piano professor, jazz piano professor at NEC when I was there. I knew him casually. He was seemed like a nice guy. I saw him play a few times, great player. But I haven't listened to him in 30 years. So what have you been listening to, actually? Tell me a record that you've been listening to that you like. I'm curious. Whiplash is not a jazz movie. I don't like those kind of movies. I think that I can't stand those kind of movies. Rick, hey Rick, I was doing Adam Neely binge today, stumbled across a live stream where you had a live chat in the video. I know you were interested a while ago. He will know how to do it, how to put the live chat in it. Yeah, there's a way to do it, and I've been waiting for Aaron to come back to help me out and figure out how to do that. Scooby-Doo, you're still on this Foo Fighters thing? In Your Honor's not their best? No way. Color in the Shape, man. Sorry, bro. Okay, so Sheila E. is not Don Cherry's dad. Okay, Nena Cherry it's her dad because her last name's Cherry too. Prince Westerberg. Don Cherry came to your music college straight off the plane in India and improvised in a trance state. You didn't know who he was. Fred Hirsch, Julian Lange CD is awesome. Okay, is that what I should get, Brett? Brett, good to see you, man. Make a note of that. Is there only one CD? Because I'm looking for some stuff like that. That sounds like a great combination. Whiplash. If you're bleeding while you're playing, something is seriously wrong. I don't know. Those kind of movies are just so cornball to me. I can't get into stuff like that. They're just so fake. I mean, I yelled at the drummer of big band all the time when I was a big band conductor, but you don't go into these long soliloquies like that. It's ridiculous. They talked about Charlie Parker in that movie. They talk about Charlie Parker in Bird too, that Clint Eastwood did. Great performances, but what the hell? All these music movies are just so cornball. Most of them, except for Rockstar with Marky Mark. That was supposed to be a serious movie, I think, but it was hilarious. It's anybody ever see Rockstar? It was supposed to be a serious movie, but it's really a comedy, and I love watching it because when they have Miles Kennedy comes up and sings, "Stand up and shout." It's amazing. And Marky Mark is when he turns into a grunge artist at the end, he does a tune that I think is a great tune. It was actually written by the Verve Pipe singer. That is a really good tune, and only the version in the movie is good. He did a version that they recorded with a Verve Pipe that's terrible. It's a different version of it. So I like that. Bruce, what are you saying? BS2. You don't like that? Spinal Tap is the greatest music movie of all time, though. Rockstar rocks. Zach Wilde is in it. Eric, you got hit in the face with a tambourine on your tour in Antwerp and had blood streaming down your neck. It was actually a funny memory. There you go. School of Rock is a hilarious movie. I really like that. Spinal Tap. There's nothing better than Spinal Tap. Rockstar is based on Judas Priest. Yeah. What about School of Music? I don't know that. Will there ever be a show on NBC like Night Music? I don't know what that means. Jack Black sounding off, that would be amazing. Song remains the same. Okay, well that's not really a music movie though. That's just a live video. Last Waltz. Those are kind of different. The Karate Kid. Okay. Rob, Gary Busey playing Buddy Holly. I never saw that movie. That's what I'm saying. JB sounding off. Night Flight. Man, this is moving fast. Got a lot of people on here. I saw a video of the Clint Eastwood kid playing Kyle. His kid plays classical guitar, I think, right? Is that right? Mr. Holland's Opus. Beatles movies, all amazing. All amazing. Love the Beatles movies. Daniel, you love Mr. Holland's Opus? It's just so cornball. Night Music on NBC with David Sanborn. Does he have his own show? What is that? I don't even know. Sorry, Ray. That was a joke. Sorry, I apologize. Documentaries are better than movies. Okay, so I've not seen the Chasing Train one. Hard Day's Night is a killer Beatles movie if you're going to watch one. And I've not watched The Miles Ahead with Don Cheadle. I've not seen that. Across the Universe. Some of my favorite making of records. The Who making of that interviews Glenn Johns and Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend is amazing. The making of Who's Next. The making of the Joshua Tree is a killer video. You should watch that. The making of Rumors is a killer video. The making of the Metallica Black record is killer. I love making of videos. Lamely, you watch Chasing Train and Higher Gun both on Netflix. Okay, I got to get to those. I just never think of it when I go to Netflix. Denzel narrates it? Wow, that's cool. Amadeus, okay, I admit to liking Amadeus, and I love Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? That's a phenomenal movie, and that has a great soundtrack. And Amadeus has a great soundtrack. I've not seen that Bill Evans movie. I don't have time to watch movies, guys. I'm on here all the time. The Making of Sympathy for the Devil. I watched one of the Stones documentaries. I thought it was maybe it was Exile on Main Street, where they're in France. It's a really good video. The soundtrack to Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is phenomenal. That's one of my favorite soundtracks ever. Watch a movie on here with you, Joel. Do you want me to comment? You want me like a Mystery Theater 3000, where I comment on this? I don't know what they'd do if I did that. Maybe not. I'll tell you though that they have little clips on every scene from The Godfather is on YouTube, literally. Man, this is going too fast, you guys. Graham Parsons in France with the Stones. Exile. Is that what that is? Exile on Main Street? Is that the name of that movie? Because that's a great movie. It's a great, great movie. Could I do one production video on the Kick Drum a week? Yeah, I could, but they get no views. I hate working on videos that get no views. Man of Constant Sorrow is killer song from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And the production is incredible. T-Bone Burnett is one of the best, it was at the time, one of the best producers ever, I think. Scroll back. Ronald, what'd you say? Scroll back? What am I scrolling back for? Did I miss something? Oh, scroll back. You're telling me to scroll back. Okay. I'm going to have an abridged version of the show right now. 5 more minutes. Oh, wait, Rick Beato movie. The Rick Beato movie is coming. Top Rock Middle Eights. That's the kind of title I need. Send me some titles like that. Once again, Aaron is still out of town. Check out Once Upon a Time in America. Seen it. Killer movie. I love all the... I love every mafia movie, but I never watched the HBO one with what is it? Who's playing me in the in my own movie or in the movie about me? The Sopranos. Thank you, body knowledge. Sopranos. Rick's favorite interview is, why is Dylan grounded from the iPad? Because he rolled his eyes at me when I asked him a question. I was looking at him in the rearview mirror. I caught him, and that was it. I said, okay, 1 week suspension. Oh, he whined. Man, can't stand that. But one day off the iPad, he starts acting like a normal kid again. I think I'm never going to give it back to him. Leave the gun, take the cannoli. One of the greatest lines of all time. I watched The Godfather. I watched part of it again today. Every day, I watch part of The Godfather. I watch a couple scenes. I'm a tough parent. No, I'm actually a pushover. That's the problem. I always give it back to them. I'm really bad with the girls. This is why you don't chat on YouTube. Oh, man, this is going so fast here. Okay, 2 minutes. 2 minutes remaining. Joshua, your daughter lost her iPad 2 years ago. Literally lost it, or you took it away? If you took it away, I'm going to really respect you a lot. Improv improv on the theme to The Godfather. Let's see here. I can't even remember the theme. What is it? Right? That's my Godfather impersonation. I think that's the right key. Is that in C minor? Was that right? I think it is. I nailed it. Right, Rob? I'm Sicilian. Come on. How can I not play the Godfather theme? I don't know who wrote the music to the Godfather. Aaron, you would take the iPad too. You have access. I have a domain at home. Disable their computer access. Please, somebody teach me how to do that. Molto bene. There you go. That was good, right? Coppola's father wrote it. You know, I think that's true. I think I read that. Well, there's two different themes. There's da 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 da. I'm pretty sure I'm in the correct key. There. Da, 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 da. Oh, that is one of the best ones. I think that's how it starts. Let's see here. Let's see. Godfather theme. Let's see if I type it in YouTube if it comes up. Godfather opening theme. Wrong key. Oh, that's killer. I wonder if I'll get dinged for that. 4.9, but that's the one theme, and then there's the other theme, though, that I played. There's two main themes in it. You have it on vinyl? Wait, somebody... it's an amazing score. That theme is unbelievably great. Or that whole movie, the music is incredible in The Godfather. That's why it's the greatest movie of all time. And I'm not just saying that because I'm Sicilian. Okay, so I think I'm good for tonight. I got to go. My voice, you see, I'm losing my voice here. You guys are awesome. No playing out thing here. I'll play some music out, but I'll see you I'll see you with Nari on Sunday night. I'll take tomorrow off. You guys are awesome.